welcome back to MediabrandTV, powered by Microsoft. We're here today with Jimmy Maymann, CEO and Chairman of Go Viral. He just did a wonderful presentation, and we have a couple of questions for you. So you talked a lot about the always-on consumer reality. So how can we as marketers get involved in that?
I think that is a very good and relevant question, and I think a lot of marketers right now is struggling to do just that, getting involved in that, because it is, the always-on consumer, suddenly are empowered like they've never been before. They're controlling actually that media platform. If you kind of go 10 years back, we didn't have that power shift, because back then the broadcasters was controlling and we decided whatever they saw. But now, both with the TiVos of the world, with Facebook, with YouTube video, they're in control. They decide to opt in, and if we're not kind of sending something across that's relevant and interesting for them, they're not tapping into it. And I think that is the whole dilemma. That is kind of why we are struggling right now, and also why I think this is one of the most exciting times in terms of digital media, because there's a lot of opportunity out there. We need new formats, we need new ways of re-engaging with those consumers, because otherwise they're going to go off and do a lot of other things that is not relevant to our brand.
Right. And in your presentation, you talk a lot about how what we consider display online, that model's broken. So what's the way that we can fix it?
I think the reason why I say it's broken is, of course, also I want to be a bit provocative. But also, if you look at the click-through rate, it's on average 0.1% are clicking on banners. So that should tell us that it's not a fantastic model anymore. Those numbers have been going down for the last 10 years. I think we need to reinvent that model, because people are getting numb to that banner format, and we need to find ways of making it relevant again. I don't have the answer how to make the banner model relevant again, but there's no doubt that video could play a significant role, because suddenly you have visuals and sound, which is obviously, we had that with rich media, but still it was in the banner format. So I think we need to get beyond that format, because people, and even for myself, who's worked in this space for many years, and it's not, I love advertising and I want to watch it, but I'm getting numb to kind of the banner, so I'm not even seeing it, and I think a lot of consumers are having it the same way, so we need to get kind of out of that format, and that's also why I think video is interesting, because, if you can get that video into actually the content sections in relevant contextual ways, then we have an opportunity to really tap back into those consumers, and I think that's what we need to kind of experience more. Yeah.
Well, kind of going off of that, Mediabrand has a lot of media services agencies within it, and you talked a lot about the new narrative, and typically that's left to the creative. So how, as a media agency, can we get involved in that, and can we impact and create a new narrative?
That's a very challenging question, because it's, as you said, it's been set in stone what it is a media agency does and what a creative agency does. And from my perspective, I think the lines are blurring now, or at least that's what I want to see. From my perspective, I think, because that's also what's happening on our side. I'm advising clients on, how to get it out there. I'm not developing the content. I need to get it out there, but at the same time, I need content that can get out there in a relevant way. So, we're actually working quite close with the creative agencies that we work with. They often send across storyboards and say, in this context, what do you think about this? Not that I should come up with the creative ideas, but just give them some pointers on, it's too long. I would imagine 20 seconds into it, people will drop out. Stuff like that. So stuff that is relevant to the consumer and from a media perspective. And I think the media agency needs to, it's a difficult one, but I think they need to get, cross that border and need to re-engage in that dialogue with the creative agencies. At least I think that will give us a better end product and something that will get consumers much more into kind of the commercials, the advertising that we're seeing out there.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us today. We've had Jimmy Maymann, CEO and Chairman of Go Viral.